Okay, so on your table of contents, I want you to go ahead and write 8.12G, cost of college. You should have this notes page. If you do not have it, you can go ahead and grab it from the Monday drawer in the cart. Um, please disregard these announcements. They've been testing the speakers in the classroom all day, and it's getting really annoying. And then they start playing music, so just disregard that. So we are going to talk about some vocabulary regarding college, because when you go to college, it is expensive, and we need to figure out what these terms are. So your first definition is the cost of taking classes at the college. So this is what you have to pay. Well, hopefully you won't have to, but it's called tuition. Money that is given or lent to students, such as grants, scholarship, loans. All of this is called financial aid. Financial aid is something that you'll end up applying for, and then they'll give you any one of these things or all three, just based on what you need. Now, money awarded to students based on financial need, this means like if your parents do not make enough money, if you guys have a really big family, you have more financial need than someone whose parents make more money, so they can give you things called grants, which is free money. You won't ever have to pay this back, and this is strictly just based off of how much your parents make. Then you have money awarded to students based off of achievement, and these also do not have to be paid back. This is called scholarship. Now, scholarships you can get off of many different things. You can get scholarships because you have good grades. You can get scholarships because you are really good at sports, good at band. Any type of extracurricular activity can give you a scholarship. You just need to apply. And again, that's free money, and you don't have to pay it back. Money borrowed that has to be paid back with interest is called a loan. You do not want to have to get these. If you have to, you have to. But if you can't, if you can avoid them, I would definitely try to get these two before you get loans, because you will pay them back. And let's say you borrowed like $10,000, you're going to have to pay back more than $10,000 because of the interest. So interest adds the money. For example, if you borrowed $10,000, you'll probably end up paying back $15,000, and those extra $5,000 are kind of like a fee that we call interest for them letting you borrow the money. Money that students can earn by working a job on campus is called work study. So this means you just get a job on campus. This could be the bookstore, this could be an office aide or something like that, and instead of them paying you, they pay the college so that they can cover your tuition. All right, so we're going to go ahead and read a problem and figure out how to solve. So Jamie wants to go to a university where the tuition is $9,000 per year. If you see a number, you need to circle it, and then important words need to be underlined. For example, tuition, we know that's how much he's going to pay for college. He has a scholarship, remember that's free money, that pays for 45% of the tuition. If you see the word of, that means we're going to end up multiplying whatever's in front of it and whatever's behind of it. So 45% times tuition, which we know is $9,000. How much will Jamie have to save monthly to cover the rest? If you see the word rest, you know that means you're going to end up subtracting of his tuition if he saves for 2 years. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a chart because that was a lot of information, and this chart will help us organize. So we have, on one side, we have what he needs, and then on the other side, we have what he has. Sometimes this is what he will have, but you could just write has. We're going to end up having to subtract what he needs to pay from what he has to pay. That word, the rest, lets you know that. So we're going to always have a subtraction sign here, letting us know that whatever we need will come down and whatever we have will come down, and we'll subtract those two amounts. However, in this case, and it's not going to be like this every single time, so you just need to make sure you're paying attention. We don't want to just know what the rest is. We want to know how much he has to save monthly for 2 years. So if you have 2 years to save for something, you need to divide by the actual months. So we need to figure out how many months 2 years is, which ends up being 24. So we know in this case, we're going to end up dividing by 24. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and fill in the chart. We know that he needs 9,000 for 1 year. If they said for 2 years, then we needed to multiply this. If they said for 3 years, then we needed to also multiply it. So, but in this case, they just want to know how much for the first year, okay? And we know he has, or he will have, a scholarship that's going to pay 45, but percent, we don't write percents like that, remember? We write it over 100, and we're multiplying. I'm using this little dot to signify that we're multiplying by the tuition, because of the word of tells you we have to multiply whatever comes after. Whatever comes after is tuition. So we're multiplying it by the tuition, which we know is 9,000. And we need to figure out how much that is, okay? This I already know is not going to change, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this down to subtract, and I need to figure out how much 45% is of 9,000, which I have that here, but let me go ahead and work it out in front of you. So I'm going to do 45 over 100, and then you have to hit the arrow button. You do the multiplication, which you see is a little dot, not an X, and then you do 9,000. So that scholarship is really going to cover 4,050. Okay, so now I'm going to bring that down to subtract, and that's going to leave me with, so that's 9,000 minus 4,050, 4,950. And now, this is how much he still has to pay. But he's going to take 2 years before going to college to save for this amount, and we want to know how much he's going to save for each month. Okay, so when you're bringing from years to months, you have to end up dividing by how many months that is. So that's why we have the 24 here. That signifies 2 years. So all I'm going to do is take 4,950 and divide that by 24, and I am left with $206.25. Yes, the cents matter. Okay, so we just figured out how much money he needs to save per month based off of our needs and has chart. I'm going to go ahead and help you set up the next one. But you're going to do the calculations. So we have a problem that says the total cost of attending a state university is $9,700. If you see the word state university, don't get intimidated. That just means another type of college for the first year. That's a lot of money, guys. A student's grandparents will pay half of the cost. Remember, this is really 1/2, 1 over 2, and then of means we're going to multiply. So I'm going to put that little dot there. An athletic scholarship, again, this is something that we're going to have, will pay another $5,000. Which amount is closest to the minimum that the student will need to save every month in order to pay off the remaining, which means we have to subtract, cost at the end of 12 months. So in this case, they didn't give us years, they gave us months, so we don't have to convert. I'm going to go ahead and start my chart. Okay, I know this needs to say need. This needs to say has, and at the bottom I'm going to end up subtracting and then dividing by 12, okay, because it says we want to save for 12 months. So I know I need 19,700, and I know that's not going to change, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that down, okay. But for what I have, this time I have two things. So I have 1/2, remember, if it says of, that means we have to multiply, so I'm going to multiply that by the cost, which is 19,700, okay, of the cost. So I'm going to multiply 19,700 and 1/2. Whatever I get, I have to add it to what else he has, which is 5,000, okay? So you're going to find what 1/2 is of 19,700 by multiplying. Whatever you get, you're going to add it to 5,000, and then you bring it down. Subtract, and then divide. If you need any help, Make sure you have your needs and has chart. This example is just a extra credit. You'll get a treat if you get this right. So let me know if you need any help.